Greetings, North Central Florida First Tech Challenge. This is Coach Sanders from the Swamp Bots, coming to you live on tape, unscripted, unfiltered, and unedited, with the top 10 things I wish I had known as a rookie coach in First Tech Challenge. Number 10, I cannot talk about first without talking gracious professionalism. As defined by the late Woody Flowers, one of the founders of First, gracious professionalism is competing in a way which would make one's grandmother proud. Competing with passion and intensity, but also with respect. Respect for yourself, for your competitors, respect for the game, respect for the world around you. Gracious professionalism should be the guiding point, your North Star in navigating everything you do in First, and maybe everything you do in the rest of your life. I think it's worthwhile to make gracious professionalism a point of conversation, to have this talk between students and coaches, students and other students. Make it a part of your team identity, who you are and what you do and the way that you make decisions. Reference it, talk about it, make it a part of your season. Number 9, cooperation, another fabulous phrase which came from Woody Flowers. It is cooperative competition, working together while we compete. As you know, in First Tech Challenge, your alliance partner in one match may be your competitor in the next. Working together, working not only as a team among your team, but working in the spirit of cooperation with the other teams in our league makes everything better. Which brings us to number 8. The Student Leadership Innovation Council, SLIC, was founded in the North Central Florida League about 3 years ago by a group of students. It is an organization by students, for students, focused on peer-to-peer mentoring, networking, and connections. It is students coming together to make their league better. If you hear about SLIC, if anybody asks you if you want to get involved, I would encourage you to say yes. Be part of an organization that makes your league better. It's about the most GP thing you can do. Number 7, just do it throughout your time in First Tech Challenge. Take the chance to jump in with both feet. Get started on things right away. Whether that means building something, throwing a prototype together, getting an idea out onto paper or into a test quickly. Whether that means just going to your first competition, whether you think you're ready or not. You probably are going to think you're not. You'll probably be better off, despite not being ready, if you just show up. So this is really an environment where it pays to jump in with both feet. It is an environment that's very supportive, and it's also celebrates failure and learning from failures, and redirecting and driving forward from that learning. So if you're on the fence about whether to do something in First Tech Challenge, err on the side of inclusion and participation. All right, number 6, building systems. Man, there are more systems than I can name right now, right? You got Tetrix, you got Actibotics, you got GoBuilda, you've got Rev, and then you've got all kinds of custom stuff. You can 3D print parts. There's a lot to choose from. All I'm going to tell you right now is that whatever build system you have, you can do great things with it. There are differences between the build systems. There are strengths and weaknesses from one to the other, but they're all capable. And so I think I would encourage you to get out and talk to people. If you're considering making a purchase, find someone who's got that same system and talk to them before you make an investment. If you've already got a system, find somebody else that has the same system or has used it in the past, and find out what's good and what you need to know to work around it and make it work. So I don't have an answer for you on what's the best system. It really depends there on your situation. But I do have an answer for you that talking to other people will help you understand it. And there are lots of people who have gone through the learnings and are willing to help. Number 5, I've got a few thoughts about CAD. And I don't mean computer-aided design. I mean cardboard and duct tape. We do a lot of prototyping with cardboard, newspaper, old cereal boxes, duct tape, zip ties, rubber bands, rubber cement, just throwing things together and putting something into a tangible form helps people to understand others' ideas, to talk about them, and to make them better. So I would encourage you to be supportive of low-tech prototyping, to have a supply of craft materials, or whatever is handy to be able to build stuff, and encourage kids to, you got a good idea? Show me, right? Build a little mock-up, build a prototype, sketch it, draw it, how would it work? And let's put it together and understand what the idea is so that everybody can contribute and learn from it. All right. Number 4, resources. I think the biggest challenge in First Tech Challenge today is sifting through the abundance of riches of game resources that are out there. I'm going to name just a couple of things right now. If you haven't heard of these, go look them up. We have the first at firstinspires.org, the FTC Game and Season page. It's where you'll find Game Manual 1, which has all the rules that tend to stay the same from year to year. How big's the robot, what parts are allowed, what's not. Game Manual 2, which has all the specific games that they're going to release here today for our kickoff for this season. What are the game elements? What are the rules around scoring? What's not allowed? All those things. And then there will be updates throughout the year. And the only place that official questions get official answers on how the rules will be interpreted and how they'll be applied this season is at the official first forums. That's where the referees go when they want to understand how to apply the rules, and that's where your kids should go. Students, you should get out there and read those forums to understand how the rules are going to be applied and how that will impact you and your robot design. Also want to point out something called Game Manual 0, which is sort of a Wikipedia of First Tech Challenge that a group of experienced teams got together and just did a knowledge dump of everything they had learned about, build systems and programming environment and wheels and motors and how to do outreach. You name it, it's there. Game Manual 0. Also should mention First Updates Now is a media outlet. I think they're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. It's just kind of like a talk show for robots. It's fun. And then FTC Share and Learn. I think they've got a website, a Facebook page. They probably got Instagram. It's sort of a national discussion group. If you're looking for more conversation, you want to get some more breadth of opinions from people, it's a great place to go. Number 3, how to run a practice. Man, if somebody figures that out, let me know, because I'm not so sure. I do think that it's important to keep fun and engagement at the forefront of your planning process for practices. I think it's important to give kids enough structure so that they can stay on track. I think it's helpful to have traditions or procedures where we start a meeting in a familiar way, we end a meeting in a familiar way, we encourage reflection, and we encourage feedback. And then beyond that, man, there's a lot to do in a First Tech Challenge season. I think it's good to let kids group together and work on smaller challenges within a practice. Have 2 or 3 kids over here working on building a drivetrain, 2 or 3 over here working on building an intake mechanism or whatever it is this year. Have a couple over here programming, have a couple over here working on our outreach plans, and maybe let kids rotate around and shift. But you want to keep practices fun, but you got to keep you're herding cats, of course, so you got to keep an objective and a goal in mind, And I would say for each practice and even each little sub team, it's good if you have objectives and goals, and then kind of let that go and remember that the measure of success. Yeah, there's productivity and there's accomplishment, but there's also did the kids have fun? Are they more excited about robots today than they were before? So there's a balance there. All right. Number 2, the things I wish I had known as a rookie coach. What the heck am I going to do when I go to my first match? So the first thing I'll tell you about your first match day, first league build day, whatever it happens to be this year, is just go, show up. That's number one thing. You're going to think you're not ready. You may not be ready. You might surprise yourself. You might be more ready than you think. Either way, you're better off if you show up. So go to these league events. If we end up online virtual this year, then participate that way the best you can, as much as you can. If we have an in-person event, get to it. You get help there, you get information there, you make connections there, and that's really important. I will say, logistically, do as much as you can to be prepared ahead of time and control the things you can control. So go this week and make sure that your kids are all in. Coaches, go make sure your kids are all in the team roster, so that when you go to print that team roster, maybe a week before your first competition, so that when you try to print it and it doesn't print, you got time to get help, and you're not trying to do that at 11 o'clock Friday night before you go to a Saturday competition. But print the roster ahead of time, plan how you're going to travel, get all that stuff taken care of. Try to go through there's a self-reflection judging sheet for robot inspection. So try to go through robot inspection before you get there. And that's typically the most stressful thing of the day. And so you do as much as you can, you plan what you can. And then when you get there to match day, let it all go. Remember, your gracious professionalism is the guiding point, the North Star for the day. And things are probably going to not go like you expected. Things are probably going to not go like the schedule said they were going to go. It's going to happen, right? You roll with it, and that's just part of the fun. So I guess that's my advice for match day. Be as prepared as you can. Do the things you can do up front to control the things you can control. And then once you get there, stop and take a breath. Think about gracious professionalism as guiding your activities for the day, and roll with it, and enjoy the day the best you can, and then move on to the next day. All right. The number one thing I wish I had known as a rookie FTC coach, just how important it is as a coach to listen to your kids, to give them the chance to run the show, to, as a group, make choices, execute plans, and live with the outcome. Give your kids the chance in this environment to just go right out there and fail if they're going to fail, right? And learn from those failures how to get back up and do better next time. I've heard it said success is getting up one more time than you're knocked down. And I think first, in FTC in particular, is a great place for kids to learn that. And I'll tell you from personal experience, it's really hard to do. It's really challenging to pull back and let the kids say, you've made your choice. We're going to go with it. We're going to live or die with this direction. But the more you can let them do that, the more they grow, the more capable they are to take it on to the next level, the next week, the next month, the next year. So I'll leave you with that. And now on towards kickoff. Thank you.